Ай, спасибо большое. Hello, my friends and family, and we are now in a town called Druskininkai. We left Vilnius, the capital, and we are about 2 hours and 30 minutes west. Not too far from the border of Belarus, Russia, and Poland. We're in that corner of Lithuania. So it means I'm not going to be able to use my drone here, unfortunately. Now, this place is known for a couple of things, but one of them that I'm looking forward to is the hot springs. There are hot springs here. There's a lot of spa places. It's like a resort town, and it's really pretty. It's a nice little pretty town. Okay, you have to understand that I've been looking for this sort of jacket for a very long time. Look. This is a Soviet Union from the Red Russian Army jacket. And it's been here. How long? Yes, this is a very Soviet style Russian jacket. No way. Wow. This is a rare jacket to find. I mean, you can find it on the market, but it's usually about like $200. And it's just there, and it's nasty, but if it's there later on today, I'm taking it, because that's a why is it doing here in the park? There was an empty bottle of cheap vodka right next to it, but okay, keep an eye on that.
12 seconds later.
I picked it up, my friends and family. I picked it up. Like, I did some investigation. I looked into it more and more. There's spiders in it. There's, like, it's frozen. Like, it's been out here for a long time. Like, and no one is around me. No one is yelling at me. I picked it up. Nobody said anything. Like, there's this. I can't believe this. I literally was walking around the town of Vilnius and Tallinn. Even in Latvia. I was in the cities, the capitals. I went to old, what do you call it, tailor shops to find one of these. But here, in this town, I found one. There's absolutely no way. This is on my wish list. I'm actually very, very astonished that I found this Soviet jacket. Like, I wasn't expecting to find something like this. I kind of pretty much gave up throughout this whole trip, and I'm about to go back to my home in Sweden. But no, I found one just lying on a chair in the middle of a park. There was a few people around, but they all had jackets, and they looked like it wasn't theirs. I mean, I picked it up and no one said anything. But I feel kind of filthy with the jacket. Like, I threw it on my back, so I need to find a bag. Where can I find a bag? But it's absolutely worth it. A few holes inside it. There's a lot of spiders in there, which is kind of gross. But I mean, some repairing, maintenance will do the job. I just saved myself a lot of money on trying to buy one on the internet, and even trying to find one of my size. That's the next thing I have to do, is find out if this is my size. As much as I love traveling, I'm actually getting pretty wary from my travels. I can't wait to go back to Sweden. But we're almost at the end of this Baltic trip, so we gotta keep moving on. What makes it really tired is just carrying that drone bag. Like, spending so much money on the drone. It's nice traveling with the drone, but it gets pretty heavy. Really heavy. So that's the only thing that gets tiring about it. Oh, but you know, it gets me some really cool shots and a new skill, drone piloting skills. All right, what am I looking for here? There's, as much as I would love to enjoy the spas, I want to get home. So what am I looking for? There's a building I'm looking for here. There's a couple things I'm looking for here. Look, very beautiful waterfall. It's off right now because it's cold. Don't want no freezing kids playing inside the waterfall. Don't freeze to death. All right. But here we are. We're looking at the Pusinias Hotel and Spa. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it looks pretty abandoned. But this is an eyesore of the former Soviet Union architectural work right here. Here is where social elites of the Soviet Union would come to a spa. And someone decided this was a great design. I don't know the name of the architecture. I just know this is a very Soviet-styled architecture building. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a hidden bunker underneath it too. But it still stands here in this town of Druskininkai.
Bruh.
It still stands. It's empty, but it still stands. And we are going to admire it because the people of Druskininkai have not destroyed it. They gave it a chance. Wow. There's not very much Soviet stuff left in Lithuania, but here we'll be able to find some more because this is not the only one. There's still more. Look at this old school camera right here. No one uses cameras like that anymore. That's it. It's emptied. And I don't think it's gonna be remodeled. No one's answering. I mean, I don't even see COVID stickers on here, so that's how old this place hasn't been in business. It's a good thing I didn't. Oh yeah, there it is. There's COVID stickers. They got the COVID propaganda too. 2 meters. Wow. Well, I don't know if they're renovating. I could have sworn I saw it open on bookies.com, but sometimes those Westerner websites don't work, and especially things like this. All right, let's on to the next. Friends and family. So this is what I did with the Bierska. I think that's how I'm saying it right. Which, if I understand, it means sheep, maybe. Huh. But anyways, this is what I'm doing with the coat that I found. I have it hanging on like one of those. Here in Europe, you see a lot of it. It's like one of those bars that like heats up and it dries your towels. So I've been having it on there overnight, and it still stinks. It stinks kind of bad. Even if I touch it, it leaves like a really nasty mildew. So this is how I know this has been out there for a very long time. And I've already seen like 10 spiders come off of it since I've brought it in. So I don't know where to carry it. I couldn't find any bags. So I just bought some plastic bags, some heavy duty bags. And we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna have to take a boat back to Sweden because I ain't gonna pay extra luggage for this on a plane. So now I'll just take a boat back to Sweden. But this is what I'm doing. I still don't know if it fits me because I don't want to wear it. It's nasty. We have to get it clean first. Gruta Park is хорошо. Lenin statues, да?
Да. Так. Советский Союз.
Я советский, да. Как зовут?
Меня? Артур.
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 Артур. Очень приятно, Артур.
А вас как?
Меня зовут Айден.
Айден.
Да. Айден.
Мой сын Айдас.
Айдес? Английский Иден.
Иден.
Да.
Здесь пойдете. Вот там.
Налево?
Здесь вот.
Окей, хорошо.
Здесь там касса есть. А потом позвоните, пойдете.
Да.
Теперь H over.
Меня? Там час, да?
Ну, так вы потом позвоните, наверное. Сейчас H.
Ага. Alright, friends and family, so this is the reason why I came to this town, Druskininkai, because they have one of the only open-air museums and probably one of the very few rare Soviet sculptures, monuments, maybe some relics here. But this is Gruta Park. Sovietsky Sculpture Museum. It's an open-air museum. And here you'll find the last remnants of Lenin statues, every Soviet statue here in Lithuania, because instead of demolishing them, there was this museum here. I don't know too much history, I just know that they came to save it, to preserve. They saved and preserved this so that people could still remember the horrors of the Soviet Union. What I'm really trying to share here is not only the preservation of an art style, which is the Socialist Realism, an art style that has died away because there's no more Soviets in anything. There's no more Soviets anymore. I'm gone. So as an art style, it's never coming back. That is just one thing why I wanted to document all this and see it, because it's in preservation right now. A lot of people are destroying them because of the past history of what the Soviet Union represents. It's communism, communist country, and it committed a lot of atrocities. So that's why I don't really have a huge stance on anything political about I don't think a lot of things that's going on. I'm here to document the art style. Here we have Ignas Gaska's tomb. Well, not really his tomb. I'm pretty sure he's not buried here, but I have his headstone here. They're able to preserve that, and he was I think one of the founding fathers of the Lithuanian Working Party of the Soviet Union. There's a bust of him over here. He's not a very well-known person in the Soviet Union, unless, like, you don't hear his name quite often. And I recognize this for sure. Here is where they kept all the prisoners who were gonna go get sent to the gulags. This is pretty haunting because you don't see a lot of these anymore. They got converted for material because Soviet Union needed material for the war. A lot of these got destroyed. So this is what I'm talking about, is like there's a lot of preserved history of anything the Soviet Union relics. This is a relic that we need to remember and preserve so we never go back to those days again. We should never go back to any times where it's like super communist. Because pretty much communism, if it's supposed to not have a government, but in the end, someone's always ruling as a totalitarian. So it fails. Are y'all nice? Oh, whoa, you got some nice hair on you. Tactical llama. They got some llamas on guard here. It looks like there's all kinds of animals here. Alright, so for the most part, there's a good beginning of it where you're able to walk in. It's freezing cold out here. It might be like 25 or -2 Celsius, but it's so moist in the air. It's like it gets to your bones and you get like the air is wet. It gets like super cold. Alright, let's see. It says cashier right here, casa. I don't know if it's open. Google Maps says it's open, but Google Maps has been wrong. Can I walk in here? Okay, they are open. And they cost 12 euros to get in. And I have to show you at the end, but they have like a lot of, I don't know if they're relics from the old times, but they got a lot of Sovietsky items. Okay, we'll start this journey. We are here now. I wonder if they let me fly a drone. If I could do it secretly. Hello. I don't know how I feel about that, but if you're ever looking for a rare albino wombat, which deserves to be in heated climates, not a freezing climate like this, they have a wombat, an albino one. Interesting. Wasn't expecting this out of a Soviet park. Alright, so all the things I'm telling you from here on is the references, alright? And that sign just told us. This is insane. Oh my gosh. I can't believe they have one of these. I've just only been in for like 5 minutes here to this park, and this is already absolutely stunning. Okay, let me show you what this is. So what happens here is that doing the gulag camps, okay? When all the aristocrats, they're sitting here laughing at all the prisoners and stuff, which is horrible, by the way. They're freaking assholes doing that. The officers in charge, they usually be up here. And this would be like, it's the opposite of a stage. Here, all the aristocrats and the officers, all officers were aristocrats in the Soviet Union during the gulags. They didn't know where else to send them except go oversee a gulag. You would think on the stage, they would be the entertainment. They would be entertaining the audience. But no, it was not like that during these gulag periods. The prisoners would be out here, and the officers would be laughing at them, and you have the petty officers, the lower rank officers out here like doing stupid stuff to the prisoners, like inhumane things to the prisoners, and while the officers all stood up here and laughed, and the comforts. This would be warm. You have Lenin here. See. Now, sometimes, on a rare occasion, this is where you would change right here. There would be some prisoners who had some very unique skills. Let's turn the light on. Wow. This is absolutely insane to be inside one of these. Alright, so like I was saying, they will have some prisoners with some unique skills. Just to make sure there's no spiders. And they would change back here. And they would put on a show for not just the prisoners, the other prisoners, but also for the officers. But sometimes the officers didn't want to watch, so they'll have like they will have like one guard usually, like hanging out right here, watching, making sure that they don't spread any information and media and propaganda and like, hey guys, we're attacking at 12. Like, make sure that those elected prisoners who are acting don't do stuff like that. But this is insane. Wow, they have one of these here. But now I painted the whole story of what they used to do. I used to watch them on the videos when I went to visit the gulags in Kazakhstan, and I recognized it. I'm like, wow, that's horrible, because they used to do some mean stuff and torture and like humiliation while the officers just laugh. That's so messed up. how you can tell socialist realism art. It's very hard to find lines. It's very rough looking. They usually represent like soldiers, workers, and there are, for the most part, like 90% of them were all propaganda. They all taught like some kind of moral theme behind them, or like to make the Communist Party look strong. So that's how you could tell, like usually like these social and realism sculptures. Большой собаки. Большой собаки. Alright, here we are. Yeah, we had the winter version of a Chihuahua attacking me. Here we have is a Russian soldier sculpture. This statue stood in Paragallias Square. Oh, and that's the place we're going to be going to next. Siulai. I don't know how to say it right, but this is where I used to stand. Now it's here. Here's an interesting piece of history right here. Hello, Sabaki. Hello. Dobruta Sabaki. Please don't bite me. But listen to this. Alright, just a little bit of history behind the statues. Like in 1946, the Soviet Army was called the Red Army, which we all know that. By the decree in 1918, the Councils of People's Commissioners created, I didn't know this, the Workers' and Peasants' Red Army. At the end of 1918, the Red Army entered Lithuania for the first time. And the young Lithuanian army tried to defend its independence of the state, fought against the Red Army for more than half a year. That's not very long, but it probably didn't have a lot of people here. What? Что? Looks like the stage came to life. Okay, all right. Right in the middle of me giving a little history lesson. So you may have recognized, okay, I'm skipping through all this. You may have recognized the TV tower in Vilnius city that I filmed. Now that TV tower played a huge significance because the Soviet army killed 13 people there. And I remember reading this. It's why this TV tower is so important to a lot of the Lithuanian people. They gathered around there to try to prevent the Soviet army to stop them from having their independence. So it was pretty sad. But that TV tower also played a huge, a role in their independence. Let's see what else. There's a lot of stuff here. And I have 32 minutes of data left on this SD card. Let's see if I can get through this. Alright, here we have another very Soviet real sculpture here. Soviet realism. Socialist realism. I keep saying that. Wow. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's quite eerie. It really does put you in the atmospheric feeling that you're in a gulag camp. Just because you hear the very old Soviet music playing in the background, echoing throughout the forest. So, so creepy. What the Soviet Union did is horrible. It was a paranoid government. And if you had any hint, not even no questions asked, that you were against the government party, you were suspected. And you were questioned, interrogated. And if they never found anything, they waited for you to make a confession on your own that made you sound like you're not loyal to the party anyways. So you will be sent to the gulag camp for like, it depends on your sentence, but usually most part is like 2 years. And that's even if you make it over there. And you didn't get paid in these camps. Even if you did, it wasn't enough. And most of these people died in the camps. They're all labor camps. And on top of that, even if you did survive and you found a way to make enough money, most of these camps were like in Siberia or Kazakhstan. You had enough money to make it back home to, we'll just say here in Lithuania. If you're lucky, which is really rare, so expensive. Most part people would just get sent back to the camps because they had a better life there. And if they made it back home, they realized someone in their family had been killed by a Soviet soldier. Or they couldn't make enough money because they couldn't get a job because they were in the gulag. And that didn't look good for your reputation. So the reputation would be tarnished. Imagine living a life where like reputation was just ruined because someone snitched you out for just saying like a very distasteful thing towards the government. So your reputation was ruined. I had to switch hands. My hands are freezing, man. Oh man. So looking at all these left monuments here, look at all these art busts. It reminds you of like the Soviet Union fell for a reason. It's not around anymore. And I like how the Soviet Park, the statues, where was it? In Estonia. I read something there that like really like it rang with me. Is that it's not here to glorify it. It's here to remember the shadows, so the shadows don't disappear, but there's light inside the shadow, and that we need to remember our history, so it never repeats. It never repeats, Lenin. And ironically enough, with all these mandates, with the thing that we were all supposed to take, people took it to protect each other. People took it to travel. People took it to have a livelihood, to work, or maybe they wanted to hang out with the friends at the bar. Who would have thought, Lenin, that totalitarianism would have still been a thing in 2022? About to be 2023, we're a month away. Who would have thought? That I'm sitting here sharing all these things about the Soviet Union. I'm documenting all the art. Some people think it's just like, man, you're glorifying the Soviet Union, but they don't really pay attention to everything I'm trying to get at. Is that you might think I'm glorifying the Soviet Union, but I'm just letting you know that these are the atrocities the Soviet Union caused in a period of history, human history. They weren't the only ones. And we're still committing totalitarianism ideas to this day. There's a lot of things you could probably come to mind. But if you impose totalitarianism and get rid of people's freedoms and basic needs, I think you need to reevaluate your mindset. Because the Soviet Union fell. It fell for a reason. Oh, Lenin. There's a lot of Lenin statues here. And I got a lot of work to do in my editing process because I got a lot of footage. Alright. Eden, you need to stop glorifying the Soviet Union. I'm not glorifying the Soviet Union. I'm appreciating Soviet art. that's destroying, or it's being destroyed everywhere. I'm an artist, that's my thing. I like that sort of art, and I'm not the only one. And there's a lot of examples of these regimes, organizations, where they go and destroy certain art styles. For example, you got like the Afghanistan Taliban. They destroyed the Buddha statue in Bahrain Valley. The Khmer Rouge destroyed and desecrated the temples of in Southeast Asia, just to sell a lot of items on the black market to fund their organization or the regime. Depends how you want to see it. Well, I could make a whole list that goes on and on. Nazi Germany looted the Red Amber Room in Moscow, and no one knows where it is to this day. People are destroying Soviet monuments and statues and artwork because they don't want to remember the Soviet Union, which, you know, that's their opinion. But I like how there's people who try to preserve this history. Look at this. Look at this low relief etching. And the thing is about the Soviet Union and the art styles is like, you never know the story of like who put in the work to do this. Like you never know if they were being threatened, or like their whole life reputation, their professional reputation is on the line. Like if they messed this up and it wasn't satisfying for Stalin or Lenin, like they can be sent to the gulag. That's why I appreciate this art, because it was that close to like end something in your life or your career. Wow, look at these lines. Like just look at it from a distance. If there was an eternal flame, this is where it would be, right here. But most of the Baltic countries have gotten rid of all their eternal flames. So I haven't seen a single one, and I've been to a lot of small towns. This is quite an exhibit. There's everything here. Even all the imprisonment camps in Lithuania. Everything is in this place, in Gruta Park. This is absolutely insane. This is probably one of the best exhibitions I've seen of the former Soviet era. If Lenin statues wasn't enough, I have a Lenin rug. This is just the documentation of this. They have books. Got all these books. Knigi. Wow. What the heck? That kind of scared me. That creeped me out. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Девушка. Wow. They have a lot here. It's a lot to take in. You need to have at least 3 hours here. This is a lot. So the building we were just in, it's a representation of what a socialist clubhouse looks like, in the inside and out. And usually what these clubhouses were known for is that people gather there for social things. Clubhouse to us might think like, oh, for kids and stuff, but no, back then it was like where all the social elites and politicians and aristocrats would come, the officers would come and they'll drink some alcohol and mingle and socialize and network. Probably find out some questionable things when your loose lips happen, when you're getting too drunk and people think, wait, are you Soviet enough to hang out with us? And then next thing you know, you're probably in a gulag. But yeah, the clubhouse, sometimes Lenin had a lot of Lenin clubhouses, which turned into Leninistic film house where they would have films. Soviet films, of course. No Western propaganda. But well, yeah, that's what a clubhouse representation looks like. Get some kvass for your troops. You want some kvass? Here it is. They have a whole potable bowl of kvass. So I'm done talking about the Soviet Union after we leave Gruta Park, because I don't think there's very much Soviets anything left after this. But to keep it very short and simple and not confusing and a good enough clarification, as an artist, I appreciate the art that's behind this sort of style. Druskininkai. And this comes to my conclusion in this town of Druskininkai, the town that means salt coming from the ground, known as the spas. But now you know that there's Gruta Park, which has most of the old Soviet relics and monuments and statues and art still preserved there, so you can still remember the horrors of the Soviet Union. We also have that one random abandoned spa building that was very Soviet architect. So here we are. Don't know if I'll ever come back to this town, but it's a very beautiful town, and I definitely recommend everyone to come and visit this town if you ever get a chance in Lithuania. And the people here are very nice and very helpful, and I'm gonna miss it being here. But it's time to move on to the next adventure. Thank you for joining me, my friends and family. Until next time.
Standing on the edge of my time.